After the auction, the owner has 1 year's time as they can redeem the deed. In other words, they can pay you whatever you paid plus 20%. That means it was a penalty return, has nothing to do with an interest rate. However, you would earn 20% on your money if you bought at that tax defaulted auction. Welcome back. Today's episode is about Georgia tax deed sales online. Folks, they don't have auctions in Georgia online. To my knowledge, Georgia does not auction property online at any time. However, Georgia has 159 counties, and they all conduct tax defaulted live auctions. All of the counties are authorized, first of all, to lien the property because it's in default, and if the taxpayer does not pay the lien, then the county is going to sell those taxes, and they're going to sell at a deed auction. So they're going to have a redeemable deed auction in which they're selling the deed to the property. However, they have not confiscated the property. Now, before I get into this, ask yourself this question. If you could buy slightly used and abused properties, real estate, for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, and you can put signs on the front lawn, or you can put small ads on Craigslist, multiple listing service, or even Facebook Marketplace, and sell the property for 50 or 60 cents on the dollar as a fixer-upper or to a fixer-upper person, would that work for you? The county needs the money, and with the profits from the sale to you, they would be helping the county, and now you'd be helping yourself and your family. The process after the property owner defaults on the property works like this. The treasurer, the tax collector, will lien the property. They will ultimately levy on the property, and that creates the tax default. At that point in time, they'll auction the property at a tax deed sale. That's really a tax deed or defaulted auction. These properties are auctioned, and the county auctions a redeemable deed to the public. The auction takes place usually on the courthouse steps or in a large auditorium within the county facilities, all right, or at a different entrance to the courthouse. The deed to the property is sold to the highest bidder. The property owner then has 1 year to come in and redeem that property. They must come forward within 1 year to redeem the property, and if they do, they're going to have to pay the purchaser of the deed, they're going to have to pay that purchaser 100% of what they paid plus a 20% penalty. So let me repeat that. The auction is open to the public. The bidder with the highest bidder is going to win, and they're purchasing a redeemable deed. After the auction, the owner has 1 year's time to come forward, and what they can do is they can redeem the deed. In other words, they can pay you whatever you paid plus 20%, and they can redeem. That means it was a penalty return, has nothing to do with an interest rate. However, you would earn 20% on your money if you bought at that tax defaulted auction. This is not an interest rate of return. It's a penalty return. So, if you bought it today and 5 days from now, the owner comes forward to redeem, they would pay you all of what you paid plus a 20% penalty. Think about what I just said. A 20% penalty. In 5 days, you wouldn't have to wait the whole 165 days. So if the property owner fails to come forward and repurchase the tax deed, which is a redeemable deed, then the purchaser is going to end up owning the property. The auction highest bidder will own the property and receive title after 12 months. You'll have the deed to the property, but you can't market it yet because nobody will buy the property until you do a quiet title or you do a foreclosure on the right to redeem. That sounds complicated. It's not. You use an attorney the first time you do it. Now, to locate information on the Georgia tax deeds, all the information is on the county website, and it's also in the state statutes. Many auctions will also have it in a brochure or right on the county website while it's all going on. Georgia does not sell tax lien certificates. They sell tax defaulted property. They sell a redeemable deed to the public. They do an auction every month in all 159 counties are authorized to sell the property at tax defaulted auctions. The treasurer is selling a redeemable deed. Now, if the treasurer isn't doing the auction, an ex officio sheriff assigned by the treasurer could do it. But the point is, it's going to be an official of the local government that's going to auction that property. Now, purchase at tax defaulted auctions, if they're successful, they can get immediate control of that property. But that's all they've got is some control of it. They're not going to have the property where they can go there and go on the property, and they can't go on the property, they can't rent the property, they can't intimidate the owner of the property. All they really have is a document that's going to allow them to make up to 20% of their money. All right, so understand, successful bidders have no immediate control over that property, no control of the property, but you do have control over the certificate you bought, which is a redeemable deed, and so that you will be paid. They must wait 1 year for that right of redemption to pass before they can do a foreclosure. Now, county auctions have rules, which are all posted on the county website. More than likely, the statutes will have the rules of the auction, so you can find all the rules and know everything long before you ever go to the auction. You should never buy a property at auction unless you've looked at it. That's a TED rule. It's not a state rule. People buy all the time and they haven't seen the property. I think that's the biggest mistake you can make at auction. So auction properties are sold with a buyer beware notice. What does that mean? They're sold to the highest bidder as is. Okay, those are two major things that need to be thought out. When you buy the property, the county is not giving you any warranty as to the condition of the property. There's no guarantee that the title doesn't have defects in it. So if you buy, it's buyer beware, and you should know that you're going to have to clear those. Auction buyers should seek advice from qualified attorneys and professionals. What I mean by that, that means that you need to hire a professional, make sure he's explained or she's explained what's going on at this auction so you know what you're doing. You don't want to take it from other people at the auction. Legal advice is not intended by this video. Okay, I'm not giving a legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a broker. I'm just an individual that got involved in tax lien certificates as an investor and now as an author and a teacher teaching other people how to do this. So the county treasurer sells deeds. Okay, that means when you go to buy that deed, it's going to have problems with it. Condition problems are going to be yours, and to clear the title is going to be yours. Simply means there's no warranty on this property. You get a great deal because if you end up with a property, you bought it for just the back taxes. There's no guarantee that you're buying a property with a clear title. It could have defects in the title. Georgia auctions are happening the first Tuesday of every month in 159 counties that are authorized. Now, if the county only has a few properties, they're probably not going to have an auction. So you want to check and see if they are going to have one. But they have them on a regular basis, first Tuesday of the month. All right, now, right below me, you can see a lot from the interactive map and auction calendar. So that's right below me, and you can see the white circles on this map. All right, that will tell you where the properties are being auctioned and how many. You can see a free demonstration right below me. I'm Ted Thomas. See you on the next video.